Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm sitting here with Mayor Brian Stover, Mayor of Thompson Station, and Sam McMullen, our beloved mortgage guy, our money man. And we just wanted to have a conversation with Mayor Stover and hear what's going on in the town, hear what's on his heart, and I'll let you take it from here.
Thank you. Appreciate it. We've got a lot of good stuff going in the town right now.
First off, let's tell us about what you do.
Oh,
In addition to being mayor.
Sorry. I have had a very boring resume. I've had the same job for 28 years. If you're from Nashville, I started off with Robert Orr Cisco, and it's now Cisco Nashville. I've worked at several different sites. I started here, went to Florida for 5 years. I was in Texas for a year and moved back home 14 years ago. I've had the gambit of titles with the company. Most recently, I've just been named a district sales manager. I cover south of Columbia, Tennessee. I'm down in Lawrenceburg, Lewisburg, Pulaski. I go into Muscle Shoals, Alabama. So that is my full-time job. The mayor position is a part-time position. I give all the praise and everything to my town staff because they do everything. Michael Woods, Steve Banks, Brian, who most of you probably know, who's the head of our maintenance department. Brian King is his name. I've left off several, but those are the guys who do the day-to-day work for the town, and I can't say enough about them. We need to hire more folks right now because we're a little short-staffed, but they keep the town running. So I can't really say enough about them and what they do. So that's it in a nutshell. That's what I do, and that's my history.
Okay. Well, what are some hot topics that Thompson Station should know about?
So for those who don't know, we just moved into our new town hall. We have moved out of the old location that's across from Circa. That was a long planning process. For those who don't know, that building I could equate it to a portable schoolhouse. A strong wind could knock it over, leaks, everything. So it was very much on my goals to get everything done. So we are now in Fountain View along 31. If you see the stone block wall, there's what used to be an old pole barn. It's where the cattle auctions used to happen in town and everything else. We have retrofitted that, and that is where our town hall currently is. We now have all the staff under one building. We are also doing our town meetings there. So it's been very beneficial for us to get everyone together. It'll be a nice centralized spot for everyone. There's a lot of growth plans for that area over there. So we're looking forward to what is going to be happening in the future. We are well underway on the construction of our new wastewater plant. I know that has been years in the making.
Yes,
when I took office 8 years ago, it was one of the first thing I heard. I learned real quick that government doesn't move fast. So it took a while, but we are underway.
Where is
completion?
That?
If you go down the road that takes you over to the Neutro Dog Park, straight behind there, you can't miss all the equipment back there right now. But it is a $29 million project. So it is well underway, should be complete by August 2025, we hope.
How does that, okay, so let me pause right there. And tell me how that plays out for maybe developments that have been approved, but they can't start being built because they don't have access to sewer.
Right.
Are we gonna see more development in Thompson Station with this waste plant?
Well, what you'll see is there's a lot of folks that have reservations for the new plant. So currently we just don't have the capacity to bring anybody else online, residential or commercial. So until that plant is complete, we're at a standstill. We can't do anything. So there's a reservation policy that we put in place many years ago that tells us who is in line to do what. So they've already paid their deposit down. They know what's going on. We do have some projects that will begin when the plant does open. The one nice thing is we did make a caveat. The town is in desperate need of commercial sales tax revenue to keep the town running. So if you're a commercial business and you want to come to Thompson Station, you can begin building your project. Once you get your approvals and everything else, you can begin going vertical. Whereas if you're a
Wow.
residential, you have to wait until the plant's done.
Okay.
The, go-
Wow.
the goal of that is if you go vertical and you're already done, when the plant opens, you can connect, you're ready to operate. As far as some of the other projects that, people say like, what's going on? Why hasn't this started yet? It's all just due to capacity. We just don't have the capacity right now to bring anybody else online. So we're kind of at a wait until that plant is finished. But the desire and the need of the town is definitely commercial driven. Uh, we will later, sometime this year, early next year, begin looking at doing economic development studies to kind of find the mix of what actually will work for the town. I'm in the restaurant business. I'd be happy with a restaurant everywhere you could, but it doesn't work. You've got to find the right mix of businesses that go for the town. We have a lot of people come to us, what they want, how, what type of business they think would work. And it just doesn't fit the need or the goals of the town. I look at Thompson Station as a very family oriented area. A lot of kids in the area, a lot of young families, a lot of grandparents have moved here to be with the grandkids. So we have to have a diverse type of business that fills the need for everyone. I use Ace Hardware as a perfect example of small town is Ace Hardware. And we look at how well that has done over there. And they're not just a hardware store. They do a little bit of everything. We look at Mojo's Tacos. They've done well over there. Then we have the liquor store that will be going in sometime this year once they complete construction, and a couple other businesses over there. But where the new town hall is as well will be another commercial business center that we can move over there. So a lot of exciting things going on. It's just finding the right businesses that will work for Thompson Station and the residents could support.
My follow-up question in regards to what you're saying is, so we have the behind your new town hall is I believe it's going to be a new neighborhood, a new residential neighborhood, and then Fairview, and then just south of Thompson Station Road to the east, there's another development going on. Was it? I don't know who the builder is. Starts with a B. It's
Parsons Valley. It's Beezer Homes.
Got it. So those, am I hearing you right that those two developments long ago put their name on the reservation for the waste treatment plant, and so they're building now, knowing that they're going to have access once the waste treatment plant is completed?
So Fountain View already has their taps. So when Thompson Station built the original waste plant, there were 4 major subdivisions that went in together to build that: Tollgate, Canterbury, Bridgemore Village, and what was Roderick Place, which is now Fountain View. So they have their taps. Parsons Valley does not have their taps. What they're doing now is clearing their land. Parsons Valley didn't have to go through a rezone. They didn't have to go through any. The land was already zoned for that. So the developer worked with the town, got his criteria where it needed to be. There was a lot of discussion on how that community needed to be developed, and it fit within the guidelines of what was zoned for that area. So he, by right, is allowed to develop over there. So he cannot begin building until that plant is done. And what you'll also notice, there was a lot of construction going on down 31, and that was the gravity pipe that has to be built to get the wastewater down to the sewer plant. It's a great topic. It really is. I know way too much about wastewater. I know way too much, but it's, yeah.
Oh, I wanted to just touch on the road because I'm sure there's, we here in Tollgate, I feel very lucky in the fact that we don't have to deal with traffic on Main Street in Spring Hill. Like, we can jump on 840 or we go left out and we go to Franklin, we avoid all that. But obviously with the 2 new developments, traffic will start to get worse. But I have come to realize that the 31 is a state controlled highway. Right. Do you have any knowledge at all into what their plans are, if they have any, kind of how that works, where the state says yes or no to certain things because of traffic pattern?
Yeah, so the state 10-year plan came out several months ago, and Highway 31 or State Route 6 was on that plan, but it's on 10 years from now. And to say we're disappointed with that is an understatement. What folks have to understand is the local town really has nothing to do with that. It's all from a state level. So I encourage everyone to begin focusing on messaging their state representatives on how we can get this road widened sooner. Williamson County in a whole, if you look at that plan, really didn't get their fair share. And I could make the argument that we provide more tax revenue for the state than any other area. So with that being said, we need our fair share to get this road done. So 31 and 431 are both state controlled roads.
Brian, who should people be contacting? I'll be sure to put it below in the comments.
There's a website. It's widen31.com.
Okay.
And all you do is fill out your name, and a nice generated email will go to the state representatives. Now, Sam Whitson is the current state rep for this area. Sam is not going to be running again. There's a gentleman by the name of Brian Bethard, who's a Williamson County commissioner, who will be running for that seat. Brian is step in step with everything I just said. He fully agrees that Williamson County needs their fair share to get the roads done. So he will go fight for us to get that done. Now, as far as what can the town do from a road standpoint, as you talked about, on my list of priorities to get done is to finish out Thompson Station Road East and Kreitz Lane. Those are two major thoroughfares that we have in the area that have to be done, especially with all the traffic that'll be done through there. We're in budget season right now, so we're looking at how we're going to get that accomplished, whether it's going out getting loans. We can pay cash for some of it. We won't get to all of Thompson Station Road East at one fell swoop, but we can do our part to get that one section right there at 31 and Thompson Station Road East, start on that project a little bit. And, you know, we've got that in the mass thoroughfare plan of what we're going to do. It's part of our capital improvement plans. As you know, I live off Kreitz Lane. We got half of that done last year, where we got the roundabout put in, we got the hill cut down, but we still have some work to do there. So, you know, I fully understand setting in traffic is not the ideal situation. You know, we want to get people home. You know, they're in better mental capacity if they're not sitting in traffic all day, similar to what happened yesterday. You know, I got a lot of calls about that. TDOT does not divulge their schedule of what they're going to be doing. So we didn't know, and you top that with a wreck on 65 and you have a bottleneck. And, you know, I'll take everybody back to 10 years ago when my wife and I first moved to Tollgate. We owned one of the condos on Bungalow Drive, and about 2 o'clock in the morning, I heard a very loud explosion. And that was the semi that clipped the Goose Creek Bypass Bridge as they were working on it. And they had to completely start from over, just start over.
I was here for that too. That was rough.
That was rough. Yeah. And, you know, there's only one way, you know, you get congested traffic and everyone thinks it's our fault. It's not. We're doing the best we can. Trust me. I was on the phone with TDOT more than anybody else because I get on and off 840 every day, and my truck was just taking a beating. So, you know, we all do our best.
In an earlier conversation that you and I had, Brian, I thought it was a very interesting point that you made, that Thompson Station and the mayor and cannot control what the communities around us are doing and allowing. So if they're just allowing crazy growth without taking into consideration the infrastructure, well, that's just going to by default trickle down through Thompson Station. If you would like to speak to that again.
I mean, I can all but assure you, we learned here where I live in Canterbury while we were doing the work on Kreitz Lane, where most of the traffic comes from, because they were using our neighborhood as a detour. And it's not Thompson Station. It's another area just below us, and it's where all the cars are coming from. And it's a fact. It is what it is. And
it's not stopping because they're continuing to issue build permits.
They haven't issued a build permit in a while. I'll say that. But for what has been done, there's a lot of cars. Now, with that being said, the new interchange off 65 is scheduled to open sometime around the end of May, we think. My theory on that is it going to help? Kinda. You still have the same amount of cars going down the road. You're just finding a new path for them. And if we can get them off 31, Kreitz Lane, Thompson Station Road East, that's great. But it's still another path that folks have to go through. And I would urge everyone to, again, when you're talking to your state representatives, we got to get 65 widened down to Saturn Parkway,
Yes.
or else we're going to continue having a bottleneck through there until that part is done. Now, the argument will still be made. You got to have money to do all this. And I don't disagree. So we've got to find a feasible plan to get things done. And that's where the town comes in. I mean, we long talk about our greenway trails and what we're going to be doing and how we're, try and get people to park the cars and just walk and go do stuff. Now, we have a lot of grants that come through, and we've been lucky to win some of them. Those are TDOT controlled grants. So we're at the mercy of them of when we're going to get our funds and how we get that, access those. But those are all in the books to get planned and get done. But as far as other municipalities, we work with them. We try and, share information of what we can do and how we can get there. Whether that happens or not is not up to us from a town standpoint. We can only control what we have in our area. So we do our best to stay within our guidelines. We're in the middle of going through a land development ordinance update. That was put in place in 2015. We were desperately in need of some upgrades, close some loose ends that we needed to do some different strategies that work better now than when they did in 2015. So we're in the process of really going through all of that and kind of looking at it from a strategic standpoint of how we're going to grow this town.
Let's segue. We've got about 10 more minutes left, but I wanted to segue. Sam had brought up the blasting that's happening behind Tollgate. Would you like to speak to that?
Sure. The town, I know it sounds like a broken record, but the state controls the blasting as well. So I will provide you with a link that everyone can go to if you're having issues with the blasting, if there's some issues that might be happening. You can fill that out.
In the comments. We'll put it below the comments.
And that way you can contact them. Everything is regulated through the state. They handle all of that. They just basically tell us when it's going to be happening and everything. So that's, unfortunately, again, another situation where our hands are a little tied on that one, but be glad to provide you the information.
Do you know, I brought it up obviously because I saw some comments in the Facebook Tollgate page. Are there, this may not be a quick answer, I'm hoping it is, are there sensors in place to gauge the level of explosion, of detonation? That, as far as you know, if you don't know, then that's the fair answer. But
as far as I know, I think there is. That's a state question. That's the state fire marshal would control all of that. So that's my understanding is they do monitor all that.
Gotcha. Good. So do you have? I can keep firing away if.
Go ahead. We've got some time. Go ahead.
So obviously there's some commercial spaces going into Tollgate, which is great. We're all excited about that. Is there any insight or hint, not hint, but like any well-known names, or do you know what's coming? I guess is a better question as far as businesses and then what's in the future for Tollgate. Like you've heard of other companies applying for permits, etc.
I don't know of any. I don't know the actual names because Regent controls all that area. They're the ones doing the recruiting. I've heard of a pizza location. I've heard of a coffee shop. The liquor store, of course, I know about. I know there's the one parcel of land over there that the gentleman who lives in Tollgate owns ground. He has that space over there. As far as the other businesses go, I'm not sure of what exactly they're out recruiting as far as what's going in there. I know some of the live works have come up for sale. I know some office space has been looked at for that for insurance offices, real estate offices and stuff like that. But as far as the town goes, we need a lot of really nice commercial sales tax revenue to get the goals accomplished of what we're looking for. And I'll go on record as telling you, one of my goals is I have to create a police department for this town. It has to happen, because right now we rely on the county to do all that, and the county is spread pretty thin on what they do. And I know we have speeding issues in all of the neighborhoods. I get it, but the sheriff's office can't be everywhere. So the idea of a police department that I have in my mind is nothing more than a patrol division. And I am the son of a retired police officer and the brother of a police officer. So I know what that looks like. And the goal is every kid in the neighborhood will know the officers' names. That's the goal. That's all I want. That's it. And, it all starts with, personal accountability. You got to know where you're at. Slow down, put the telephone down, and understand the neighborhood. There are children playing everywhere. I understand they're not supposed to be on the roads. I get it. We were all kids at one time. We did things that we weren't supposed to also. So just understand, please be careful on the streets when you're driving through there. Be respectful of everyone else. We're all in a hurry, but just slow down. You'll get there. I promise you. So that's my little soapbox on that part. So, I mean, I think I get more phone calls about that than I do anything else. So I understand there's an issue. I get it. We're doing our best. I mean, what it takes to create I'll give you the numbers right now. On the commercial businesses that we have right now, we collect about $480,000. I'm sorry, on property taxes, the town collects about $480,000 a year in property tax. So for basic math, if you're paying $2,000 a year in property taxes, the town gets $206 of that. The rest goes to the county. Then out of that money that goes to the county, 71 cents goes into the schools. Mm-hmm. So the rest of it comes from commercial sales tax. And we're, I think, probably 1.3, 1.4 million, somewhere around there is what we're collecting on sales tax revenue. To run a police department, it's about $750,000 a year for 2 officers.
So are you considering any incentives for businesses to move in?
There's really no incentives that we can offer right now to get some of the businesses. There is a very loud contingency out there. No one wants big box, and I get it. In the same breath, people ask me, can we get a Whole Foods, a TJ Maxx, Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's.
Those are big box. By definition, those are big box. So, and unfortunately, we just don't have the rooftops to get those. So we look at the small independent businesses that are coming in that really honestly fit the nature of Thompson Station better. We're very strategic. We don't currently allow drive-throughs in Thompson Station. We want the right business. I'd rather hold out and not just allow everybody to open a business around here. We need to get the right business. And I think we've been good. We've had good luck with that. I think we've been strategic. What we've done, we just have to ask the residents to keep your dollars in Thompson Station. So Kroger is our #1 sales tax generator. That's where the majority of our money comes from. And full transparency, I stop at Publix and Berry Farms just like everyone else. That money doesn't come to Thompson Station. It doesn't help my pension that I get from Kroger, because I worked for Kroger for 10 years. So, I ask everyone, if you can, stay in Thompson Station, spend your money here. But we get it. There's a bleeding effect. And that's fine, because they will have the businesses that we can't open. We just won't be able to attract those. And we get it. But we want the businesses that the residents want. And that's why we're doing that. We'll do the economic development study eventually and kind of work through that.
Phenomenal. Well, our time is drawing to a close here.
All right.
Thank you so much for spending your morning with us, Brian. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Glad to do it. Everyone have a happy Easter. Get the Easter basket filled up. I've got to go do that myself here for a while. I forgot about that. So, but everyone have a great Easter. Have a good weekend. As always, contact me if you need me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
All of the links and contact information will be below. See everybody next time. Thank you.
Okay.